quadratic function is in vertex form when it's written in the form y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So y and x are just y and x, but a, h, and k are going to be numbers being added, subtracted, multiplied to the x. So when it's in this form with this one parentheses, or this one binomial squared, so just one set of parentheses, when it's in this form, we're actually given the vertex and we have to then plot additional points. So it's kind of nice because it's not quite as much work because the vertex is already given to us. We know where the center of the parabola is going to be. So what we do need to remember is what our parabola is going to look like. So we have to remember that the absolute value of a, so if it's positive or negative, that tells us if your parabola is going to open up or down. But ignoring almost the negative, if your parabola or your equation has an a value less than 1, it's going to be compressed. So compressed, wider, however you guys remember that, flatter, but that would be like 1/2 x squared. So it would be not quite as skinny. So if a is larger than 1, the absolute value, that's when it's stretched or skinnier or taller. So that would be something like -3x squared. Not quite as round, sort of skinny, tall, but it could open up or down. That part doesn't matter. It's the absolute value of that a value. So when a is negative or less than 0, that's when it's reflected. So that's when your parabola opens down because it's really reflected over that x-axis. Things we've talked about, but just a reminder. So the h parameter in your equation controls the horizontal shifts. K is the vertical shifts, and your vertex is hk. Very similar to absolute value graphs. These are just rounded rather than linear. And the axis of symmetry goes through the x value of your vertex. So if you're trying to find the vertex, hk, say in your example there, say this point is 3, 2. So the h would be 3 and the k would be 2. So this equation could be something like x minus, what is the h? 3 squared plus, what is the k? Positive 2. So that could be something like what that equation could be if we were to write it. So remember, we went right 3, like the h value is 3, but the minus is just part of the equation. So even though it's saying -3, we've really moved right 3. The k value is just always what you kind of think. Up is plus and down would be minus.